guys, Jamie here and welcome to episode 9 of the Built series. Now, today we're going through a bit of a Q&A. I asked on Instagram to give me some of your questions, and if they weren't shit, then I was going to answer them. Now, the first question was, what is my daily routine, both in the morning and in the evening? And I'll go step by step exactly what it is that I do for both. I get up around 5:30 a.m. and then I go straight for a walk. This walk is about 45 minutes to an hour. And it's more about getting some steps in and also planning out my day, getting an audio book, and it's more mental than physical, although it does help physically too. Then I come back here, do some stretching, and then start to get creative. The mornings for me are very creative, and that's when I jot out most of my social media. Then I'm jumping into the shower, have a minute and 30 cold, have my shower, and then 30-second blast of cold again before jumping out and getting on with the day. My evening is also quite strict too. I go into a kind of a wind down period from 8 p.m. where I switch off my mobile phone and I put it on Do Not Disturb. I tend to have dinner with the wife at about 8:30, and then we watch about an hour of TV before going up to bed about 9:30. Then I'm going upstairs and reading a book till about 10, half 10 before I wind down and get ready for the next day. It is so important not just to have a morning routine, but evening routine too, because a lot of people struggle to wind down in the evenings and get to bed. The next question was, does muscle come back faster if you go from being big then small? I'm gonna have to get my whiteboard out because this is quite a long one. So the answer is yes. Yes. But there's lots of debates to argue if it's physiological or psychological. Now, before I draw on the board, I just want to cover the psychological. When you achieve something, be it anything, it's very easy to get back to it if you know you've succeeded in the past. Let's say, for example, a millionaire who goes broke. He has more chance of becoming a millionaire again, especially if he spent many years building up to become one. Very much like bodybuilding too. If you remember being at a certain weight, benching a certain amount of weight, you will work harder towards getting back to that. So a lot of the progress that you make when you leave the gym for a long time and come back is psychological because you know you've done it before. Now, let's go back to the physiological. Now, there's quite a lot of interesting studies when it comes to muscle building. And what they say is when you muscle build, let's just do a line like so and a line like so. And hopefully, if I move this up, you can see these two lines. Now, imagine, if you will, this is your muscle cells when you're not lifting, and this is your muscle cells when you are. Imagine these are tiny little nuclei in a normal untrained body, and as you start lifting weights, these nuclei start to increase and the size of the muscle starts to increase too, because you are increasing that nuclei with resistance training. Now, what happens is when you detrain the muscle, it shrinks down in size back to its kind of original size there. However, what studies have shown is that these nuclei either take a long time to get rid of, 3 to 6 months, or never go at all. So when you train again, these nuclei are still there, and then it expands and grows. Very kind of sciencey, but also understand this. If you lift weights for a long period of time, you increase these nuclei, and there's studies to say that they don't go anywhere. So do the work, lift the weights, and the magical thing is it's much easier to build muscle when you're consistent and been doing it for a long period of time. I've been weightlifting for 20 years. I probably only train hard twice a week, and because I've developed lots of these little nuclei in here, it's very easy for me to build muscle. To put the science away, Jamie. So the next question is, Jamie, what are the 3 things that you're good at but want to be great at? And that is a great question because it's something that I say all the time. The 3 that I really want to get better at is presenting, public speaking, and mental conditioning. Something that I push myself daily to do. I push myself in events and challenges to mentally condition myself. I learn more. I force myself to challenge myself, both physically and mentally. and I force myself to challenge myself in public speaking and presenting too. And the final question is, what would you invest your energy in now for your future business ideas? Well, pretty much what I said that I want to get good to great at, public speaking and presenting. If you're not very good at it, get good at it. That will enable you to stand out from the crowd better. Another highly sought after thing is graphic design and photography. If you want to get your social media out there, if you want to build a business, it pays to get better at that, or hiring someone who is able to do it for you. But most of us are on a budget, so it's good to get better at these yourself. And the final one is coding or learning a new language. Coding is pretty much learning a new language anyway, but learning things like Russian, Chinese are gonna set you apart from a lot of people and are gonna give you other opportunities in many other countries. So coding and learning a new language, a high skill which people should develop. Ladies and gents, that is it from episode 9 of this special build series. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about muscle regain and building those cells. And I'll see you next week. Adios, amigos.